So we're going to hear the protagonist lay out a very devastating, credible rumor of what David Gordon Green originally planned for 2018.
Or u/embarrass_, tail 6146 had to say, and I'm quoting, "Fun fact, Halloween 2018 was originally supposed to open up with a rewrite of 1978's ending where Michael ends up killing Dr. Loomis. John Carpenter convinced David Gordon Green and Danny McBride to axe it."
Well, let me be clear. I would disagree with the protagonist on several different points, which he lays out in the video in terms of how good Halloween 4, 5, and 6 were, and his opinion of Halloween Kills and Halloween 2018. So I'm actually a little bit more harsh than he is on the whole trilogy. But I will make a concession which may get misquoted because people are stupid on the internets and don't listen or don't listen to the context. But so my stance would be this entire trilogy is pretty bad. But I don't want to say this, but I would be forced to say that Halloween Ends is less stupid than Halloween Kills. And 2018 is technically better than both of them. So Halloween Kills is pretty much the worst one. So I don't agree with the protagonist that the Loomis cameo in Halloween Kills was that good. I didn't like it. I thought what they did with 2018 with Loomis was balanced. Having the audio cameo, it wasn't great, but it was fine. I liked it. But apparently the original plan was to kill him off. What to make of it? So I think me and the protagonist agree it's good that John Carpenter vetoed the idea. However, I want to maintain consistency. And one of the major issues I had with 2018 is that, to put it mildly, this whole story is like a miracle story because basically, I guess we just believe that in 1978, Michael killed people, he got up and stopped. Somehow the authorities caught up with him. He just froze and they took him away. He rested a while and he came back. That sounds really fucking stupid. But apparently their solution was to have, quote, Loomis killed off by Michael early on in the film. So let me be clear, I don't trust David Gordon Green. I think he's a good director, but in terms of horror films, and definitely this franchise, he's not been a very good influence. I think they basically trade in several tropes, especially shock. They just like to do a lot of tricks, shocking people over and over again, and that's their main go-to. And beyond that, they like to do a lot of meta humor and a lot of silly jokes that are not very funny. On the one hand, I don't like what they did with 2018. I don't like any of these films. I think they're all garbage. But I would have to say 2018 is the least worst. But even that has major plot issues. And one of the major plot issues is they don't really explain Michael at all. Like, well, what happened that night? What happened between him and Loomis? Did Loomis just give up? Did Loomis not pursue Michael? Why didn't Loomis kill Michael? Loomis is not stupid. He would not take the chance that Michael could come back and hurt Laurie or other people. That just made no sense to me. So now we're being told, well, they had a different idea. I don't trust them, and if they're much better creators and writers, you can work with that restriction. So I'm glad John Carpenter did a veto and preserved the first film. However, I am kind of stuck because what they did with 2018 was insanely stupid. To be fair and consistent, in principle, I want to be very clear, hypothetically, yes, even David Gordon Green, in principle, could have done something good with killing Loomis off. Again, I prefer that they didn't touch the first film. That's better. But that did leave them with a restriction. So to be fair to them, that did create a problem, which they never resolved. And I don't think the Halloween Kills cameo did any favors. It just made everything way worse. I'm like, that's it? Oh, he's surrounded by people with guns. He was surrounded by people with guns at the end of Halloween Kills. He didn't stop. He got up and started killing people. So this whole thing makes no sense. It's just fucking moronic from beginning to end. However, they were restricted with the first film. I don't think that excuses what they did, but if this rumor is true, then they didn't have complete freedom. Do I think they would have done anything with it? Probably not. I think they would have still screwed it up. However, to be fair to them, in principle, yes, they could have killed Loomis and done something good with the story. I'm open-minded to creators that they can do whatever story they want. However, once they do that story, they can be judged very severely. And I think, to me, at the end of the day, David Gordon Green is just basically doing a lot of Tarantino. And Tarantino does the same thing. He'll do a lot of shocking things to sort of jolt the audience. And in a good story, it works. But in a bad story, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't add anything. It's just a cheap trick. So to me, it is possible they could have done something with Loomis being killed by Michael, but in all probability, they would probably screw it up and just do it for cheap thrills and a cheap laugh. I'm skeptical they would have done anything with it. However, to be fair to them, I do think 2018 suffered from not really explaining what happened with Michael that night. He just stopped magically, apparently. So their solution to have Loomis killed off is not a good one, but there we go. So it's a binary. What they gave us was really stupid, and I don't trust them, so I think allowing them to kill Loomis would also not be a good thing. But then that just goes to show they probably were not the right choice for this franchise or for this trilogy. They should have gone with another team. Blumhouse got greedy. They wanted more sequels. It was never intended to be a trilogy. Once the first one made money, it is what it is, and they just pumped out garbage. And I'm still shocked that so many people overrate this series because it is really worthless.